everyone, welcome back to another Weekly Rotations video. We're on now week number 60, the series where I show you everything I've worn all through the week, and it's everything from my collection. So some things may be designer or indie or niche, but most of them are gonna be cheapies because that is what I enjoy collecting and what this whole channel is about. Starting off on the first day of last week, on Sunday, you all know my usual church-going routine and all of that, and I think this one is a perfect church or really almost anytime going out, professional, mature fragrance. Not a lot of younger guys may appeal to this, but I personally think it is amazing. It is by Lalique, and it is Lalique Pour Homme. I know, and this is the Lion's Head one, and this is also the Eau de Parfum version, and there is an Eau de Toilette, which is a little fresher, but I really like this one. It's a lot more hefty, a lot more dense, and a little smoother. But this has a lot of woodiness, a lot of musk, a lot of heaviness on the oak moss in here. Very mossy, a little green on the top, a good bit of a citric burst as well. And you quickly get a lot of almost creamy style woodiness. And as it dries down, it gets a lot more earthy, like I said, a lot more aromatic and green, kind of, like I said, mossiness in there. This is amazing. I kind of shy away from wearing this a whole lot because it is a little old school and very mature, but this last time I've worn it, it's probably the best experience I've had with it. It smelled amazing, so smooth, really, really great quality, like you'd expect from Lalique, a great price as well. I mean, this stuff is like very cheap online. The Eau de Parfum is a little more expensive, but you can find it still for around that $40 mark, maybe a little under that, depending on where you look. It's an amazing performer as well, very loud, and it lasts me all day, especially on clothes. I've had this to literally have that earthy, mossy muskiness, that very heavy base note, which is going to cling a lot to skin and clothes, but I've had the smell on my clothes for like weeks after when I've got it out of the closet and worn it. So yeah, really great, lovely stuff. If you are a guy who likes to be a little more mature or have a little more formality, this is a perfect one to go with. If you don't mind a little bit of that retro old school feel. And like I said, very heavy masculinity, but very classy as well, very upscale, perfect for most of the year round, probably aside from the high heat of summer, unless you do like the Eau de Toilette, but this one is great for almost any time aside from that, especially the springtime we're getting into. I'm wearing this a lot because, man, I forgot how much I really like it. So yeah, really enjoy it, really like it. If you like old school and very mature smelling stuff, I highly recommend this. It is amazing. Then the next day, first day of the work week, on Monday, wore one. I just had a hankering to wear this and another in the same line for the first part of the week. So I really was just like, man, I just really want to wear it. I was craving it. It just had to scratch that itch. So I decided to wear it. One of my favorite from the Eros line, or at least so far, it is Versace Eros Flame. Super underrated, but gets a lot of love for the people who do love it. And man, very much almost year-round wearability. It has a strong citrus, very green, aromatic kind of note on the top. Like I said, a lot more green to expect, and right behind it, you get a good bit of spiciness. There's a unique note of cinnamon here, which is not in anywhere else in the line, probably except for Najim, but there's cinnamon here. It umps that spiciness, especially the fresh spices in there, not anything too dark, and you get that vanillic powderiness like you get in the rest of the Eros line right behind it, but this still stays very fresh, and as it dries down, gets more to that base note of the vanilla, powdery, little woodiness in there as well, musky all the way through. Amazing performance, like almost all day longevity with a nice medium projection for majority of the time. Other than that, it's very loud for that first bit. Lovely stuff, amazing. If you can't find it for a cheap price, either online or in store, highly recommend it, especially if you see it at a discounter. Do not skip out on it. If you like Eros, but you want to give a little twist to it and one that you wouldn't expect to be that great, this is the one to get. Really good stuff. Then that nighttime wore one that is a recent addition to my collection. Actually, this is the second time wearing it. I'm just now talking about it. It is very, very hyped online, kind of undercover clone fragrance, but people who do happen to talk about it really hype it up as being the best clone of this fragrance, but it's very hard to get a hold of, and I happened to see it available online and immediately went and got it when I had the chance. I was waiting on it. It is a little above that price point that I like to keep things at, because I did get this for like $51, $52, so you expect it to be a really good clone, and I was not disappointed at all. This is by French Avenue, and this is Mirage Absolute. I've seen Ash from Gent Sense and a lot of other people talk about this one as being the best clone of Latent Exclusive, and I love Latent Exclusive. Had a sample of it, wore it out, absolutely loved it, along with Pegasus Exclusive, so I was expecting a lot from this. And this delivered. This smells so close to Latent Exclusive. You get that same latent profile, a little bit of a menthol, vanillic, almost fruity kick on the top, but quickly there's a lot more woodiness in here, a lot more smokiness, a little bit of an animalic tinge as well, with a good oud base in there as well. Of course, it's not gonna be real oud, but it still has that funky, deep, woody, darker aspect to it like you expect from oud and from Latent Exclusive, the original. It's amazing, so smooth as well. Like, I was very surprised when I smelled it, but man, man, this stuff is phenomenal. Again, had to wear it twice. I wore it once when I got it in and then wore this again, which is why I'm talking about it now. And again, not gonna be in the price point I usually like to keep things at here, but even though most people consider $51 cheap in comparison to the quality of this and most other fragrances, but yeah, I do really like this one. Haven't tried D2 Noir, was it Exclusive or the D2 Noir, whatever, the one that's supposed to be the, another clone of this. I wanted to get the one that had the animalic edge because I did enjoy that from the original, and I got this one, but man, lovely stuff. If you have any other suggestions of other Layton Exclusive clones or Layton clones, let me know in the comments below. And if you've tried this one, let me know what you think about it, but personally, I love it. It's gonna be one that I'm gonna wear a lot as soon as we get back into way colder weather in the next winter time. But yeah, highly recommend trying it out. Keeping in line, like I said, I had a craving for Eros, so I wore the other Eros flanker that I have, which is my favorite in the original, like regular Eros line. It's the last one you'd get. It is Eros Parfum. I got this as a Christmas present from my wife, I think 2 years ago or so, maybe 3 years ago, and I love it. I really love this. It's my favorite flanker. I do want to get the Eau de Parfum, maybe a small bottle of it, but I'm really tired of the Eau de Toilette because I had a lot of people wear that around me way back in the past. But this is by far to me the smoothest, most mature, upscale, formal smelling one because it dials back on that sweetness while still having that vanilla there. Still has a good little bit of that mintiness as well, a lot more aromatics, but it's a lot more base heavy, a lot more base ambery, a little more woody. I do really love this stuff though, and like Flame over here, it's a phenomenal performer, almost all day longevity, and a nice medium, almost medium loud projection for the first little bit, and it stays with a nice projection all through the wear. Great sillage as well, like when you're wearing it around people, you're gonna smell it on yourself and everyone else is gonna probably smell it as well, but I love this. Again, the more mature take on it, the smoothest take as far as I'm concerned, and I do love it. I really do like it. Again, not only the cheapest one, especially at discounters, but one that if you are willing to shell out that little extra bit and you want more than the Eau de Toilette and more than Eau de Parfum, this is the one to get. And as far as my opinion, it is the top tier one in the regular Eros line. But yeah, even if everything else goes in my collection, I'm gonna still keep this one. In the nighttime, wore a recent pickup that's another Layton clone, but it's not Layton Exclusive, it's the original Layton, and I know this probably isn't the best one. There's a lot of other clones out there that I want to try out, but as far as I have now, it is still a really good one as far as I've been able to tell. I have another one from this company. It is called Orientica, and this is Exclusive Oud Bleu, I believe it's called, or maybe it's called, yeah, just Blue, B-L-E-U. And I knew when I was looking at it through the case at TJ Maxx that this was going to be a clone of Layton because I've already gone through and looked through this line on which other ones smell like this and that, because I have the emerald green one back here, and I've been looking for that rouge or the red one that smells like Baccarat Rouge 540, but now I've been looking for this one too. And it smells like Layton. I mean, it has that fruity apple menthol kind of effect in the opening. I think that geranium and other florals give it that kind of menthol effect, but it still has it just like the original Layton and that nice spiciness underneath it, which gives people a little bit of an apple pie kind of vibe, but I don't get a whole lot from that. There might be sweeter versions out there that have that effect, but I do get that apple fruitiness in there. Vanilla, menthol, a little powdery, a little woody as well, a lot of ambers too, getting a little warm as it dries down, but this one actually wore very close to my skin as it dried down, had okay longevity, but not a whole lot of projection, and it really went off a lot quicker than I expected and I wanted it to, but then again, it was like only like 20-something or so not bad. I know, like I said, there's a lot of other clones out there that I really want to get that's probably closer and a little better performing, but still, this one and the Contra one that I have, I really am happy with both of those, and they have different takes on it as well, so I have a little bit of one world or the other. But yeah, if you happen to see this out and about or any of the other Orientica ones, I highly recommend picking them up, and if you see some out there that you want to recommend to me, let me know in the comments below. But this one is still good in my book. Then the next day, on Wednesday, wore one that I talked about in a recent video, and the Valentine's Day one that I put up, and it really doesn't have to be Valentine's Day. It can be for any date that you have, even throughout the year, so I'll put a link to it right here. It is by Zamaya, and it is Sharaff the Club. I'm not gonna talk a whole lot about this because I already talked about it in that video. Not the best performance as far as I'm gonna tell, but it has way more of a deeper smoky oak moss leather take on the Aventus vibe with a little bit more of a fruitiness in the opening, but it's not so sparkling fruit as it is a deeper, almost hefty fruit. Still really enjoyable. It's an amazing scent profile. I actually got a compliment on this as well. I was walking my coworker well after I already had sprayed it on, like way later in the day, and he was like, hey man, what are you wearing? Because it smells really, really good. So I had to go show him, and I already showed him a Sharaff blend before, so he's kind of familiar with the look of the bottle. But yeah, I got a compliment on it, so it is compliment worthy, and it is a getter, but again, it's not gonna be the best performance as far as projection. It's okay in longevity, but still, I do recommend it. It's very, very like dirt cheap online, especially at FragranceNet. So if you do happen to see it and you want to just add some to your cart, I recommend it, especially if you want a darker, deeper take on the Aventus profile. And then starting that night for the next 2 nights from Wednesday through Friday, I had nighttime services at my church, a little revival and get-togethers and things like that. So it gave me a good chance, especially since it was colder those nights, to wear the last few of the cold weather-oriented fragrance samples that I had from World of Zaharoff. So this one I wore the first night was this one called Signature Leather Tobacco. And man, I love this one. This is a very animalic, super smoky take on leather. A little bit of the tobacco nuance in the background, but majority what you get is that leather, hardcore, masculine, smoky, not really patrol kind of gasoline vibe, but just very smoky, incensey, animalic, rough leather, while also still having a little bit of a cleanliness to it in the background. Still wearable, but very heavy masculine, and it lasted all through the night. I could smell it very well in just my skin, not even just my clothes, well into the night. And it was a long service, had a lot of things going on, and I smelled it way after I got home, and one that I'm maybe tempted on getting a full bottle of sometime later in the future. But yeah, love this stuff, really great, and it's right in line with the kind of things that I enjoy in masculine fragrances. The next day on Thursday, wore another one that is a recent addition to my collection. Got this one for really cheap too, and in a gift set. It is by Boucheron, and this is Boucheron Singulier. I know this has been hyped up a good bit by Justin at his channel, Justin Copeland, and even Ross from TLT Reviews. After hearing it from Justin so much, he decided to get it, and I actually got this one in a gift set with this, a travel size atomizer, and the shower gel for like $26 or $29 at TJ Maxx. It was like heavily clearance. It had the yellow tag on it, if that tells you anything. And I do really like this. Has a lot of similarities to me to Rocaille Cologne back here, that blue kind of style, but Rocaille Cologne is a lot more heavy on that citric, fruity, like bitter orange, or I think maybe blood orange note on the top. But this one is a little smoother than that on the opening, not so harsh or heavy with it. It still has that blue aspect to it in the background, but this one comes across actually a little smoother, a little more masculine, classy as well, a lot more subdued than that one, and actually has better performance in longevity than that one. Dries down having something that's actually a little more cohesive in the base, like an actual base dry down to it. Really nice, a little woody, fresh ambery, kind of ambroxan thing in there. A little bit of a citric, almost aromatic nature as it goes through as well, but really lovely. I really like this stuff. Can't wait to start wearing it more and more as it goes through, especially in the springtime when it gets started in warmer weather, even though, you know, blue fragrance is supposed to be all year round, but I think this fits way more in the going into warmer weather from spring to summer and even fall. But yeah, really like this one. Probably gonna do a video later in the year on blue freshies, and this will definitely be in there. So if you do happen to see this out and about for a cheap price, I do recommend it. It is nice, but if you have a lot of blue fragrances, you can skip over it. But if you want a good first one, this is a good one. Of course, that night wore another one from World of Zaharoff. Like I said, I wore more of the samples on those night services, and this one is Signature Tobacco, so the regular tobacco one. And this has a lot of similarities, if not just a almost exact similarity to Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille, but with that Zaharoff kind of style, like the dry down is a little bit animalic, musky. It's like they took Signature Port Homme and mixed it with Tobacco Vanille, had a little bit of cleanliness in the background, almost like a fresh linen kind of thing as well, but you do get a lot of that tobacco. It's not really too smoky, it's actually just more aromatic and just present there, not really ashy, and that vanilla is in there as well, a little powdery, a little creamy. Like I said, as it dries down, it's very ambery, warm, a little woodsy, a tad bit of spice in there, but lovely stuff, fantastic. But it definitely has that Tobacco Vanille thing in there with a little bit of like that Zaharoff twist to it, but still great performance overall. Lasted a good bit, maybe not as dominant as leather tobacco, but still one that's very enjoyable. And if you do sample, I highly recommend this one as well. Then that Friday wore one that I talked about in a shorts video that I posted last Wednesday. Really love this stuff, and every time I wear this one, I just seem to love it and appreciate it more and more every time, and find out new things about it as well. It is by Moschino, and it is Moschino Toy Boy, a hype cheapie in the community, has been for a while, and one that a lot of people are surprised at how much they like it when they start smelling it. And actually a lot of people in my close circle here of friends and family really enjoy this one. In fact, my niece has offered to buy this one from me because she wants to wear it herself, and it does have that unisex factor to it, but again, apparently a very strong compliment getter, more so than you'd think, and it's definitely one that is very different from the usual masculine fragrances you see out and about. But yeah, really love this one. Of course, a lot of rose and magnolia, just strong florals in the opening. Actually very fresh as well. I get a little bit of almost an aquatic freshness in the mid, even though I don't think it's listed as a note, but I definitely get that aroma chemical that keeps it very fresh and light, which is why I think this is very wearable, probably more so in the springtime. I know I featured it actually in a winter cheapies video, I think like 2 years ago. I think it was the first winter one that I ever did, and because I thought it was very heavy rose and woods and whatnot, but actually as I got to wear it more, I noticed more of the freshness. So now I think this is one that fits more perfect in the springtime, maybe a little bit in the fall as well. I think summer it'd be okay, but you have to be very careful with the sprays because this stuff is a loud performer, like super, super loud and very long lasting. Like I sprayed it on at like 8 something that morning and I smelled it closer to even like 6 or 7 o'clock that night. So yeah, strong longevity, but yeah, this stuff is solid. Of course, woody dry down, very musky, a little spicy as well. But man, this stuff is fantastic. Very, 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 very floral though. And not even just in the rose, but like I said, magnolia, even some other floral aspects in there as well. So if you don't like florals, you won't like this. But if you love florals, especially rose, and you want something that's very different from the usual masculine stuff out there, this is a perfect one to get. Like I said, niche quality for the cheap. And this really embodies that cliche insane. So yeah, recommend this one so, so highly. Right alongside like Encre Noir, it definitely is one that every fragrance aficionado needs to get in their collection. And then at nighttime, it was the last service in those string of services we had. So I wore the last Saharov cold-oriented sample that I had. And it's one that I hope I can wear again. I think it fit even in the springtime, but it is very sweet. But it's one that when I saw the note breakdown and the overall view and profile of it, I was very, very excited. And one that I honestly did not expect to like as much as I do. But it is this one from them called Signature Aurum or Aurum. Yeah, I think it's Aurum. As you look at the look of the bottle, it has like a honeycomb on it and bees, and it's very cool, a nice plate on it, and it's exactly what you think it is. It is a honey-centered fragrance, and it is not just like a overly sweet honey thing, or that designer kind of honey like you'd expect like in Le Mans Elixir Absolute, and things like that. No, this is realistic honey. It has that very almost acidic tang sharpness that honey gets in both smell and taste, and even has a little bit of an animalic feel to it, because if you do get things like honey accords or like things that have beeswax kind of things to them, they do have a little bit of an animalic thing to it, because I mean wax and honey are animal byproducts basically. They're made from bees, so they have a little bit of a interesting kind of facet to them that almost gives an animalic feel, and this has a tad bit of that, the same that you'd get in honey or beeswax and things like that. Very, very sweet as well, but not overbearing like syrupy sweet. It's just a nice undertone of sweetness, a little vanillic, very ambery, warm as well, especially as it dries down. A tad bit of spice, but also honey has a little bit of that spice kick to it as well. It's just overall a honey-centered fragrance and not just a designer like overview of it. It is really like a photorealistic honey. I just can't overstate that enough. If you are someone who really likes honey, like the taste of it, the smell of it, all that, and you smell this, you'll be blown away with how accurate and close it is. But yeah, this is really good stuff. Another one that I actually might get a full-size bottle, or at least a smaller half-size bottle of, because I just really appreciate the perfuming behind it, how really impressive it is, how unique and how artistic it is as well, but also how wearable it is. I really love it, really enjoy it, and I really smelled it on me almost the whole night as well. And I was doing a lot moving around, so I was very surprised with how it stuck with me. Great projection, great longevity, and just really stuck with you. So yeah, one of the ones that if you're going out and about buying a lot of samples from Zaharoff to try out, I would definitely recommend putting this one in there, especially if you want a more unique and very artistic smelling fragrance that's not like anything out there. This is one that you should highly recommend trying out, especially if you love sweet fragrances and honey. This is the one to go with. And then today, Saturday, went out and about with wife and baby. We ate with her grandmother, then afterwards went with her parents, just shopping, getting around, and letting them spend time with the little one. And of course, aside from wanting to just dress good, I wanted to smell good as well, and decided to wear one that is one of my absolute favorites in my collection, that literally, if everything else goes, I will make sure this stays in it, because it's not just one of my favorite fragrances in my collection, but one of the favorite fragrances that I've ever worn, period. And one that's very underrated, but yet even Aaron Terrence Hughes at his channel as a perfumer gave this a 10 out of 10. It is by Dolce & Gabbana, and this one is Eau de Parfum Intense. And I think maybe this one has been discontinued, or at least not produced as much, and there's also the Eau de Parfum Intense gold version, but this one is the one that I'd recommend, the regular or original Eau de Parfum Intense. this one doesn't smell anything close to the original Eau de Parfum or the original Eau de Toilette, or probably nothing even like the new Parfum, which I really do want to try. This is very different from that, but really also an improvement on the Eau de Parfum in every way. This is just very sugared lemon zest, almost fruity, sweet on the top, and a lot of cardamom spiciness that's also sweet as well, but not overbearingly sweet. It's very tame, very sophisticated, and you do get a lot of cedar woodiness right underneath that, giving a nice base and just rounding everything out very, very, very nicely, giving a nice ground to stand on, and a lot of musk in there as well, which I like having musk in all the fragrances anyway, so it gives it the projection and lift and also the smoothness. But yeah, a lot of musk in there as well, really rounding everything out and giving it the push and the airiness without being too heavy. It's one that, of course, today was actually a fairly cool day. I think the high was like 68. Perfect weather for this. I think this is great for spring, day or night, probably more nighttime in that area, and fall, day or night, and winter, day or night. But I think this one, the profile is very sophisticated, classed up, and it also has a great date night vibe to it as well. And to me, it's just like a classy, mature man's seductive fragrance without being too old school and also too youthful. It's right in the middle. And really, guys, I love this stuff, and it's hard to explain it unless you're able to go out there and smell it yourself. And it's just so underrated, which is very unfair because this thing has an amazing profile to it. It's very attractive, like I said, very seductive, and just so smooth. And to me, like I said, an improvement over the original Eau de Parfum and Eau de Toilette. But even though it doesn't smell like any of them, it's still an improvement to me. I just love this stuff. It is phenomenal. It is amazing and has great performance as well. Like, I still smell it on my clothes right now as I'm talking, and it's been almost 12 hours from when I first sprayed it, with a nice medium projection overall. And of course, the more you spray, the more project and all that. And like I said, I think it may have been discontinued or at least underproduced, you know, as far as I've been able to hear about and see. And I have seen it a whole lot at rack stores at one point, especially TJ Maxx. They had bottles of this stuff all in the cases, and now when I go and look, it's not there anymore. So maybe they'll have another wave or come through, but I think you can still find this at online discounters for a really, really good price. It's one that I highly recommend. If you like the Eau de Parfum, but you wish you had something a little more oomph to it and a little more depth, this is the one I would most assuredly get you to and guide you to. Again, not the Eau de Parfum Intense Gold version, the original one here with the black bottle. Love this stuff. I will hype it to the moon and back because I think it very well deserves it. Really good. And there you go, guys, all the things I've worn all through the week. If any of these things have stood out to you or piqued your interest, maybe you own these or you own them at one point, you don't own them anymore, you're looking at buying these and you have any kind of comments or concerns or questions or anything about it, let me know in the comments below. And as usual, if you like what you've seen here, if you enjoyed it, it's provided some kind of entertainment factor or any kind of information that may have helped you, please consider giving the video a like and a thumbs up. Let me know that you did enjoy it and to keep making these weekly rotation videos. And of course, if you're watching this video and you're not subscribed to the channel, but you do like what you've seen here or what you've seen elsewhere on the channel, I encourage you to please consider supporting this channel by subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you can see all the other things that I'm working on in the background and playing to bring out to all of you guys, for all of you to watch and enjoy. I would love for you to be right along with me on this cheap and inexpensive fragrance journey, and hey, maybe I can even help you discover something new along the way. And per usual, guys, that's all I have for today's video. Again, thank you for being here and for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. And I will see all of you again in the next video. Be blessed.